Many people have already started missing the ridiculous and funny videos of the chubby Sultan of Chechnya. Kadyrov hasn't entertained the public with his Donchiks for a long time. He's not riding Cybertrucks, not threatening London, and not even forcing anyone to apologize.
You're not a human, you're just an evil shaitan. If you're the one writing to me, I'll find you.
Kadyrov has disappeared from the informational and political arena. And once again, rumors are spreading about the imminent demise of this wretched terrorist. There's a high probability that Ramzanchik is having a flare-up of the serious old illness that nearly killed him in 2023.
All of that is behind us now. I am very grateful to you for what you are doing. Not enough has been done. We need to do more.
Back then, the Kremlin's infantrymen managed to cheat death for a while. Maybe death just couldn't drag him through the doorway. But Kadyrov realized that he needed to start preparing a successor, because the pancreatic necrosis he was diagnosed with is very hard to treat and has a high mortality rate.
Portraits of 17-year-old Adam Kadyrov are being hung in the offices of Chechen officials. As Novaya Gazeta Europe discovered in its new investigation, the health of Chechnya's leader Ramzan Kadyrov has deteriorated again. He has stopped leaving Grozny and spends almost all his time in the hospital.
No matter how much Ramzan tries to show that he's fine and full of energy, everyone understands that he's already a walking corpse. And it's time to start dividing up Don's carcass. This is especially well understood in the Kremlin because the stability of the entire Caucasus depends on a loyal regime in Chechnya. This year, the intrigue has come alive again. Recently, Kadyrov announced his desire to step down as head of the Republic. He even appealed to Putin, asking him to let him go. But the pale mushroom remains silent for now. Apparently, he's deciding who should replace Ramzan.
Ramzan Kadyrov is asking to be relieved of his duties as head of Chechnya. On his own, of his own free will. Just look. That's exactly what he told journalists. I ask to be relieved of my position. I hope that my request will be supported. By the way, Kadyrov has also heard the rumors about his frailty.
Naturally, Kadyrov wants to keep his family in power. That's why, right after the first flare-up, he began actively promoting his underage son as his successor. Adam Kadyrov started appearing in the press more often than Kirkorov, and every time, it was spectacular. In fact, Adam's political career began after he beat up a defenseless Russian guy at a police station. For this, he was specially brought to Chechnya and subjected to a public punishment for burning the Quran.
To study, well, like Islam itself, at least try.
You know, with real understanding.
Yes.
You're not saying this from the heart. Your eyes are looking somewhere else.
For beating a man in a police station, Adam Kadyrov not only went unpunished, but was awarded the highest honors of the Chechen Republic. Moreover, after that, awards rained down on little Don as if from under the tail of the golden antelope.
The Labor Valor of Russia awards the Order of Labor Valor of Russia for military service in the glory of the fatherland to the head of the Security Department of the head of the Chechen Republic, Adam Ramzanovich Kadyrov.
The Kremlin did not react in any way to this trampling of Russian laws and simply watched this farce unfold. The Patriots and other Russian nationalists, of course, were outraged, but their noble fury never went beyond telegram channels. All the Russians just wiped their faces and moved on.
Just as before, cooperation will continue in those shared interests that we have agreed upon, and let no one think that anyone here was afraid of someone else, or that anyone was forced to submit to anyone. There is no such thing, and there never will be.
Of course.
Of course.
Trust me, absolutely.
And Adam Kadyrov continued to establish himself as the new king of burlesque.
The very best make it into the prestigious Russian Book of Records. The official certificate I'm currently holding in my hands was indeed recorded and formally set, not today, but nevertheless, we patiently waited for the absolutely right and opportune moment to officially record and present this significant certificate.
Recently, Kadyrov's offspring was even recognized as a hero of the special military operation, appointed as the curator of the Republic's Ministry of Internal Affairs, and as the secretary of the Security Council of Chechnya. And that's at 17 years old. Alexander the Great, the legendary historical figure, is depicted nervously smoking, accompanied by his formidable and highly disciplined phalanx. He had only recently ascended to the throne at the remarkably young age of 20 years old. This unexpected and somewhat anachronistic situation cannot help but deeply irritate the highly vigilant and meticulous security officials within the Kremlin. They literally hate Kadyrov and his clan on a molecular level. The only thing holding them back is Pina, who tries to balance between the FSB and the Sultanate. Of course, he gave Kadyrov complete freedom and hooked him on endless state funding. But appointing a 17-year-old C student as the head of an entire republic is too much, even for the crazy old man. Apparently, Putin refused Kadyrov's request to appoint his son as successor and is preparing another clown for the position.
I think that in the next 2 or 3 months, this will all be completely settled.
Volodinov has become the new face of Putin's Chechnya.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
They're molding him into a war hero, a wise administrator, and a great conqueror of the West, who personally destroyed all the tanks, repelled every attack, and liberated Kursk even before the Ukrainian armed forces got there.
I believe, of course, that if we mobilize, I'll repeat myself, if we gathered about 1 million people, arm them, and put them into formation. And when our enemies saw that we had a free resource of 1 million people, I can swear that all of them would immediately lose their bravado and the desire to fight.
Against this backdrop, Kadyrov began looking for ways to retreat. He understands that when he dies and another clan comes to power, his whole family will be finished. The golden assault rifles will be melted down into gravestone plaques. Dondon started spending more time not in Chechnya, but at his villa in the Emirates. There, he began holding secret negotiations with the monarchies of the Middle East to ensure the safety of his family and his wealth.
Is Ramzan Kadyrov out of favor? According to Chechen activists, the head of the republic hardly appears in Grozny anymore and has taken his family in closest circle to the United Arab Emirates. Since the end of December, Kadyrov's personal jet has been constantly shuttling between the republic's capital and the airports of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It seems that Kadyrov's position is starting to wobble.
Such separate contacts have greatly angered the Kremlin because now it's unclear who Kadyrov is more loyal to, the Arab sheikhs or the Petersburg back alleys. The answer is obvious. As a result, the Kremlin began to retaliate. Ramzan's closest associates have lost their positions. In February 2025, the eldest daughter of the head of Chechnya, Aishat Kadyrova, announced her resignation from the post of Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic for Social Affairs. She had been in power since the age of 21, when, as a student, she headed the Ministry of Culture.
What the fuck?
2 other daughters of Kadyrov, Kutmat and Khadija, also left government service. Plus, in a strange, almost mystical way, Kadyrov's personal executioner, Adam Delimkhanov, has disappeared from the public eye. He is still officially listed as a State Duma deputy, but where he is now and what he is doing is unknown. Immediately after her resignation, the eldest daughter flew to the Middle East. Rumor has it that it was to discuss the withdrawal of all Kadyrov's capital. The main backup airfield for the Chechen Scrooge is Qatar. Dondon really started to hurry because at the beginning of this year, his health suddenly deteriorated again. According to reports, the head of Chechnya now regularly spends time at the AMED clinic and has in fact moved there permanently. He only travels around Grozny in his motorcade. And for longer trips, he uses a Medevac helicopter. Dondonchik doesn't go to work either. He has delegated all his duties to the head of the local government, Magam Daudov.
In Kyiv, where everyone is waiting for the collapse of the Russian Federation, including, so to speak, the ignition of the North Caucasus right now, they're probably popping champagne corks.
Chechnya is starting to boil. The Gauleiter of the occupiers will soon croak. and it's not at all certain that his replacement will bring stability to Chechnya. The struggle for power could set the entire Caucasus ablaze and spark a third Chechen war. The Kremlin understands this, but they can't do anything sensible about it. They themselves created such an unhinged regime in the Republic that it can't be replaced peacefully. Now any decision will be a bad one. Appointing a schoolboy or Aladdin the yokel would be equally disastrous for the crumbling empire. With Kadyrov's death, his entire rotten system will collapse, and the Republic will once again begin its struggle for independence.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.